Greetings, gentle viewers! And remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell, and always remember to fear for your immortal souls! Bye! Greetings, gentle viewers! This is one of those reviews where I'm all like, I think this film was brilliant, and so will you. Threaten, threaten, threaten!
Mistress, are you reading the stage directions again?
No! This is just Salvage. Salvage had an incredibly original concept when it came out in 2006. Not so much now. A college-age girl celebrates her happy death day by going to work, going home, and then being brutally murdered. And then the cycle begins again. Alas, the film is incredibly low budget and never got a theatrical release. It was basically ignored and forgotten by everyone who's not a weird freak like me. Which is a tragedy because not only was the concept great, it is one of the best endings I've ever seen. Now, the film's no masterpiece, the music veers wildly between pointless and annoying, the visuals are sometimes terrible, and the performances mostly aren't great, but like I said, the budget was tiny. So tiny that most of the cast had to work behind the scenes, and a micro-budget film ending up as good as Salvage is, even with its huge problems, is a rare thing. Anyway, how to begin? Ah yes, a reference. Many people have speculated that if we knew exactly why this film was called Salvage, we'd know much more about the nature of the universe than we know now. The rest have described the matter, and indeed the film, as a load of dingoes' kidneys. We open in a junkyard, oh that's why it's called Salvage. Anyway, we open in a junkyard, and quickly realizing that so far the film is only frightening to car collectors and conservationists, they start throwing late 90s industrial music video editing at us. Okay, Evan Wilson, but who did the unoriginal score? Probably Hans Zimmer. Then, we're an even more low-budget version of Clerks. At least Clerks could afford atmosphere. That guy is Jay, Silent Bob, and Ethan Suplee all rolled into one.
Good night.
Have a good morning.
But we're following Claire, the other worker at the Nightwing Express. She's just done the night shift and is waiting for a lift home. Poor thing is so tired she doesn't even realize she's on a hill. If she wants to get a signal, she could just walk up the road a bit. Literally.
God, Jimmy, you're late again.
Fine as it is, this film has many problems, some I've already mentioned, but also the acting is what you'd expect to find in a low-budget evangelical horror film. Actually, the acting is what I would expect in a low-budget evangelical horror film. No one else has seen enough of them to realize they have a distinctive acting style.
I told you I got class.
In case the leering and barely contained malice from redneck Dexter here isn't a clue, this isn't Jimmy.
Who are you? How do you know Jimmy?
We're friends. He's a great kid.
This is Duke Desmond, and he's gonna murder her. It's not a spoiler, it's basic body language. / basic language full stop.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm not a leper. I'm not trying to rape you.
Yet.
Shot glass ready to go.
One area where this is very different from Happy Death Day is that the killer wears no mask. Not even a mask of sanity.
Just want to see your pretty face. You got nice skin.
He's very clear about what he's gonna do, making it feel more like a weird Hitchcockian film than a traditional slasher. We all know that she's gonna die, but we never know when.
Don't tell me you're another one of those fucking cunts.
No? Do you wanna be?
Turn right here.
Oh no. If he goes any further right, Elon Musk will unban him on Twitter.
How about I walk you up to your door, huh?
I'll take that as a maybe then. I love the fine interior mist in Claire's house. An affordable and stylistic way to make your home look like a shot from Highlander the Quickening.
Jimmy, it's me. Look, some weirdo just picked me up in your truck and drove me home, and I just want to make sure you're not dead or something.
Claire, you'll soon find out that most people in this film are Schrodinger's cast. Anyway, Dexter's twins not quite finished being sinister yet. Duke Desmond, ridiculously named demon to some, biblically accurate angel to others.
Now I can see you through the door.
I love our shocked realization that it's two-way glass.
It's me, Duke. You remember me. I just give you a ride home.
It rhymes with puke. Turns out that she lost her earring in his truck, probably when he grabbed her. So he lays it on the porch and she spends an agonizing amount of time trying to reach it. Agonizing for the audience mostly. But I am glad that drinking bird toys are finally getting work in film music. Ugh, you don't know where that earring's been! It was important that she got it back, though. How else could you forget to call Synergy for help?
I heard that, Jerica.
I said it loud! In the voiceover! For emphasis! Anyway, sucks to be her, because all this took just long enough for him to drive around to the other side of the house, park neatly, get inside, and run out of time just before he thought of a witty pre-mortem one-liner. Okay, I get that he's killing her, and that's the whole point of the film, but what did the foghorn do to deserve that?
Please, God! No, God!
You okay?
Much better than she was. Regardless, this Teen Titan's going home again. Unlike Happy Death Day, the loops aren't basically identical in this.
Get in!
It's done deliberately to create tension about when and how she'll be murdered again. And most importantly, exactly how much face removing will be involved. Anyway, as often happens after being murdered, the conversation turns to possible threesomes.
I know Jennifer's your best friend. I just think we should at least ask her and see what she thinks.
But do you want to have sex with your best friend? Do you think Matt would like that?
I already asked, and I'm kind of embarrassed about how much begging was involved. Some people have a smoking room, they have a smoking house. I really want to know how they maintain such a consistent low level of being on fire in a suburban home. It'd be great for practical jokes. Oh wait, she found something important. This reminds me, I need to buy better earrings. Don't know why she's so worried about the door. The earring was where she left at. If Duke's anywhere, he's in the basement where he chopped her to pieces.
Don't open it.
Hi, Jimmy.
Oh, hey, Kate.
How you doing?
I'm great. That is a smoking blouse you're wearing today.
Well, thank you.
It goes very nicely with the rest of the house.
You know, it almost makes me think I should take you out instead of your daughter.
Ew. Get her room.
They might. They spend a lot of time off screen. Okay, so since her murder, Claire was picked up after her job, talks about going to class, and is left home, makes breakfast, and then Jimmy's there to take her to class. On the surface, it looks like he was waiting for her and got impatient, but based on the mother's lines...
You know, if Jimmy is kind enough to come and get you every morning because you can't be bothered to get your driver's license, the least you can do is be ready.
It's none of your business.
It's like it's meant to be another day entirely. This is the exact point where surreally playing with time meets possible incompetence. If this was most other low-budget films that assume that something went wrong, but this film loves its, sometimes literally, hazy, dreamlike atmosphere where things don't line up. For instance, in the last loop, the van's engine worked just fine, but now it needs a push start.
Can you push the truck? Oh yeah, and put some ass into it.
It's kind of hard to explain how this film is without seeing it, but it's a bit like each day is a house, but each time she's killed off, the stuff inside the house gets rearranged. In subtle ways at first, so you only realise it's happening with time. Anyway, you might have noticed the slight blue tint to much of the film. That's because it was made in the past. As it gets even older, the blue shifting will get even more dramatic. I realise I'm actually describing red shifting, but like I said, the film's not perfect.
Through me is the way into the woeful city. Through me is the way into the eternal woe.
Clues, clues, clues. Subject matter? Is this working?
Yes.
Yay!
Abandon all hope, ye who enter.
We've all heard the film's exciting approach to the piano and the death scene that sounded like a duck being given CPR, but the music's not all like that. Oh no, but half of it sounds terrified that you forget what decade the film came out in.
Okay, I'll come out.
Its source. I'll walk these streets like I run. Your heart versus your head versus what you mean versus what you face this in the light. Everything about this is
The mid-2000s were a mistake. Anyway, the bleachers, so-called, to remind them that they're going to need to get rid of some stains later on. There is such a fine layer of smoke in this film that you probably taste like smoked salmon.
Someone's up there.
Oh, that's probably just the anime exchange student. He's harmless, except for all the hepatitis.
Man, you're acting crazy today.
At least Duke's staying up on the nosebleeds. Stalking's just not the same without a good pun. I think my favourite part of Claire's performance is that about 15% of it is just her taking off and putting on her jacket. Anyway, she's again thinking about her murder at the fists, knives, and feet of Duke. Weird thing to wank about in the bath, but, you know, you do you. Excellent timing, though. The soundtrack sounds like the composer shooting a porno on top of his piano. Anyway, Claire's bath was soon interrupted. Door, door, door. Open, open, open. And the sound of her mother planning the most ominous sounding surprise party of all time. You can really tell that it freaked her out. She put skin-tight jeans on wet legs.
Is anybody down there?
Hello, Mom? I really think we need to touch basement.
Ma?
Maybe she won't talk to you because she thinks you're indecent. Go put your jacket on and try again. Or just flail around in a well-lit room as though you've not noticed that you suddenly went blind. Okay, she's actually meant to be reaching into the dark in front of her, but this shot is so ridiculous it destroys all the tension that they're trying to build before this happens.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
What the hell are you doing down here in the dark? Who are you talking to?
I lost something down here.
My sight! I love her kind of freaked out reaction to this. It's like that bit in Lord of the Rings where Bilbo turns into a monster, but she turns into Steve Buscemi. So the next day, Claire, Jimmy, and their two almost named best friends are celebrating another day of not being brutally murdered, with some basketball / being bored watching basketball.
So,
Play basketball here.
Jimmy had a dream last night?
Yeah,
Really?
sure did. Yeah, it is.
You, me, and him had a three-way. Ew.
To be fair, any other answer would have put this film on a very different track.
Nice dream, Jimmy.
Told her?
That song is its own cry for fucking help. Good thing I ignored it until it topped itself. I wonder how a song commits suicide anyway. I bet Gloomy Sunday's involved. What a sick, moodyish brunette in a small town, constantly in danger, supernatural stuff abounds, irritating boyfriend, psycho obsessed with her, often in unappealing rooms, awful soundtrack. This film is secretly Twilight. That's not even meant to be an insult, it's just weird. Well, this is certainly a bunch of high-stakes driving through a field. I wonder how long they had to microwave the camera to get a sky that looks exactly like the tropical Pacific Ocean, if it was irradiated. So Duke's out digging in the field. It's been so long since he last killed her. He had to take a second job as a farmhand. Anyway, he followed her home. This is the point where Claire should probably be glad the film's soundtrack is so fucking awful. If it had a better one, he'd be humming really loudly right now. Things are going from bad to more of the same, really, as Claire tries to do some homework, but an old school internet screamer is desperately trying to get her attention.
Hey! Listen! Mom? Mom, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm just getting dressed.
The mother's voiceover sounds like it was cut together from old voicemails. Still, by the time they arranged her next scene, they'd paid her enough to actually act.
Well, have a good night. And be careful. Okay? Because I worry about you in that place all alone.
Thanks. Have fun on your date.
This scene is a treat. Not only do we get to see her take off and put on 2 different shirts, but we can see that the Beast Boy Express sells only the finest artisanal blurry items. Oh, that's why everything's so smoky. She's just easily bored. Anyway, she finally falls asleep in the job and dreams of Duke being hunted down by rogue sound effects. Seems kinda fair after beating the foghorn to death earlier on. It is certainly a choice to make it look like someone strategically sneezed in the lens. It's not a good one, but, you know, it's still a choice. Anyway, something's here stalking her in the aisles. Hiding, being half glimpsed, snaking through ominously. Yes, you guessed it. It's the camera. You could cut the tension with a knife. Luckily, Duke's here to sharpen his in her face. He had originally planned to kill her in the basement again, but he heard the deal's here to die for. And according to the small print, he's not the one who needs to die for them. You know, in retrospect, I can totally see why they thought the original ending to Clerks was a bit too dark.
Have you any famous last words?
Not yet.
Not yet? Is that famous?
Where we're going, I don't need eyes to see. Okay, maybe. A white girl's in trouble. Let's book! I'm pretty sure that's more cops than actually live in this town.
You're alright.
He's in there.
You're alright.
And the blood in her face is gone. One of the issues with a film with this low budget, deliberately doing lightly weird shit kind of infrequently, is that even I knee-jerk assume that it's incompetence. Until I remember that, nah, it's basically David Lynch by way of a low-budget indie metal music video. I'm now realizing that I'm also kind of describing a Razorhead, but I don't really give a fuck. The police questioning goes as expected. The guy wearing the beard of seniority is kind of condescending, and his underlings start to laugh at her.
Claire, are you high?
Is she high? Look around you. You're the guys who built your police station out of a giant bong. It's either that or tiny smoke machines briefly became a must-have item in 2006. You know, it's probably the second one. People are weird.
From time to time, you don't smoke a little weed, do a little ecstasy.
Get down tonight?
Get freaky.
We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
Once you've seen this to the end, you'll realize that regardless of her protestations, she's been freaky the whole time.
I used to buy it off you in the parking lot before you became Captain Asshole.
All right. Whoa. All right.
He must have had so much left over when he got his promotion that he used it to replace the asbestos. Anyway, why are they laughing? Well, according to the CCTV, she beat herself up.
And getting into a fight with yourself.
I can see why she's so embarrassed. As beating herself up goes, she's no Bruce Campbell in Multiverse of Madness.
Like he'll stop in a few minutes?
About 3 weeks.
And the guy who's been tormenting her is dead.
I shot him dead last week. Everybody in this town seems to know that but you.
He's dead.
Dead and gone forever. Look, it's not surprising you've been having nightmares about this guy.
It's not surprising that she'd be terrified of a guy she didn't know existed.
We found some kid cut up in the back of his own pickup truck.
That's a reference to Jimmy being dead in the original Lup.
He's a great kid.
But don't worry, give him a few minutes until he'll be alive, /dead, / a quantum superposition, /slashered.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry, Claire. I'll take you home.
But first, you wanna buy some weed? You look like you could do with something to take the edge off.
You're looking pretty tired. Why don't you go ahead and lay down and get some sleep? I'll wake you up when you get home.
Good idea, it'll make the scene transition easier. By the time she wakes up, she's in a completely different car, the cops are nowhere to be seen, and the neon blue shower gel they call a sky is looming ominously overhead. All that she can handle, but the soundtrack sounds like a duck fucking the foghorn. And to make matters worse, it gets diarrhea halfway through. And that's for not knowing the childproof locks work.
Shut up!
He really wants to hear the soundtrack. Now we know he's evil. Anyway, time for a brief foray into his latest side hustle. As an instructor in advanced civil Karen training.
The only thing that's real is what you feel. The only thing that's real in this whole world is what you feel. When I cut your head off.
I realize that sound effect came out of nowhere, but to be fair, so did the Slender Mum. All in all, she's handling this better than most people, though she has some practice by this point. Plus, she is tough. I mean, her face is cutting the knife.
Please, God! No, God!
I want a knife that bleeds, but inventing a special knife that bleeds is literally the most difficult way you can get a bloody knife. Hey, remind me to stab someone later!
Do I get to choose who? Because James Patterson really pisses me off.
Nah, he'd just send someone else and then say that I stabbed him.
Yeah, and then complain that there aren't enough old, rich, white guys getting stabbed anymore.
This is suddenly becoming kinda meta. First, you can't face the truth.
The only thing that's real in this whole world is what you feel.
And now she can't face anything. It's very much like peeling a teenage girl's head.
Good morning.
That's a common reaction to working retail.
What the hell's the matter with you?
Well, she's not taken off or put on a jacket for about 20 minutes. This time she figures she'll avoid the inevitable just by walking home. It's a long walk, so she has plenty of time to think of a better plan, like hiding. But no matter what she does, she soon finds herself back on her set path.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter.
Though I think that refers to her currently stripping boyfriend's dick, rather than the larger theme of the film.
Sorry about that. We're about out of time for today. Yes, Claire?
Gave this lecture yesterday.
Well, how would you know? You weren't even here yesterday.
That's the sort of reaction I normally say for episode 9 or 10 of a season of American Horror Story.
Where are you going? The hell is your problem? I went to your house and your work looking for you. I waited.
Her boyfriend's like someone crossbred Jason Lee and Justin Long. And the most confusing part of that is him somehow being worse than both of them.
Okay. You're not crazy. You know I'm here to listen. Just tell me what the problem is. Bitch, are you crazy?
What? You don't even believe me.
I do believe you.
Thinking about it, the coloring in this film might be so weird because it was lit with gaslighting.
There is a ghost. No, I'm sorry. It's just a funny face you just made. I do really think there's a ghost.
You're such an asshole.
When you've seen the whole film, him being a shithead actually makes perfect sense. But I don't want to spoil anything. Some of the performances do that enough.
There isn't a ghost. Come on.
Fuck you.
Come on.
Camera guy, you're concentrating on the wrong wood. The acting's over there. So they head to a local church, partially to ask about Duke Desmond, the most hilariously named serial killer since most of them. Why do serial killers have such weird names? But mostly because they got access to the location, and it'd be rude not to use it after they went to the effort of telling one of their parishioners to stand there and to pretend to be an actor.
Can I help you?
God, you scared me.
Nah, I'm just the janitor, but we're often confused because of the similar ages and general air of disdain. Anyway, she explains that she's been seeing Duke's ghost, but the janitor and his seconds of theological training isn't too concerned.
Oh, but you don't have to worry about him, though. He won't hurt you.
Because he's dead, right?
Because he's in hell.
Yeah, but hell could also be the name of the town. Okay, I kinda love Jimmy's face in this scene. It's like it's been grafted on from another performance in another film. Not a good film, but still fun. Anyway, because he's terrible at his job, the janitor directs him to Duke's place. Notable because he filmed at least 3 August Underground films in it before he was caught.
It's kind of deserted.
Yeah, because no one lives there. That's what deserted means. Oh, floor-level basement. Perfect for the ADA-compliant serial killer. I think she can see us. How embarrassing for her. They have 2 very different reactions to this place, but both lead them to investigate further. Claire's frightened but curious, while it's just scaring the shit out of Jimmy.
You know, this place makes me want to take a crap.
It's probably not a great sign that I thought that was the score again. Duke had a lot of paint cans, enough to paint the whole town something vaguely resembling red, because the colour correction in this film is still weird. Oh wait, that'd just be blood. It's a terrible time to visit though, because Duke's just returned from his part-time jobs. As opposed to his main job, being dead. I bet he's got a really confused boner right now. I mean, there she is, alone, terrified, in a basement, but it's the wrong one. Well, looks like Duke's not going to take any more Jimmy's crap. Maybe they've misjudged him. Maybe he's just hardcore into home renovations. Like, really hardcore. Plus, it would be a waste of a good tarp not to kill him. One of the problems with this film is that it doesn't pick up speed as it goes on. If anything, it just gets slightly more openly weird. It has its setup, and then stuff happens for ages, and then that stuff includes the ending. This story could finish at almost any point, whether that's 10 minutes ago or in 4 hours, and it wouldn't really matter. I say it doesn't matter because the ending would still be amazing, regardless of how much meandering bullshit you gotta get through to get to it.
Sheriff Miller, it's Claire. Look, I'm at a cabin out off Route 60, and I think something's happened to Jimmy. I think he might have gotten killed. I need someone to come out here.
Look, I can't tell you what's going on, Claire, but you're gonna find out soon enough.
Well, at least the police haven't got much worse since they made this. Oh, well, that's concerning. Better go to the library.
Where do you keep your old newspapers?
Not that old, though. He was shot dead last week. That shot's like a behind the music of how they made the film's soundtrack.
Loud noises!
Of course! Well, that's cast rather a gloom over the evening, hasn't it?
If she pisses herself, I'm so gonna make a Jacob's bladder joke. But if she doesn't, I won't get myself in a Jacob's lather about it. I love how the computer's on a standing desk while the tower's on the floor, with the wire stretched almost to breaking. I mean, it's just so she can dramatically walk backwards into a bookcase. Shit! But it's also a realistic kind of dumbass organizing you might find in a library. On the way home, she walks into the field where they grow the film's copious supplies of smoke, drawn to the patch where she saw Duke, and slowly, she begins to dig. Gotta stretch the runtime out a little bit more. Alas, poor Claire. I knew me, Horatio. Horatio? Oh, has he killed you too? Oh dear, a lady of such infinite staring and such excellent bangs. I hath taken my jacket off 1,000 times, and now how abhorred in my imagination I am. My mouth gawps at it. Like a lot. My mouth is open in so many scenes. Here hung those earrings I dropped, I know not how oft.
Wait, did you buy a skull just for some Hamlet voiceover?
No, like I would do that. His name is York and he worked in catering. He had a crush on you! I chose him because the irony was fucking hilarious. Look, even he finds it funny. Look.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least you have some standards, and hopefully there's, I don't know, grinder in the afterlife for him. Poor guy.
Has anyone seen my skull? You know, a grave that shallow, so close to the road, dug during the day. I'm shocked he managed to kill enough people to even qualify as a serial killer. Anyway, Claire's getting truly desperate. She heads to her best friend, who still totally has a name's house.
Come on, let's go into the other room.
Did you say other room? I'm so happy to have you for my best friend, and I love Jimmy so much.
No, it's okay. I'm your best friend.
Anyway, like Tommy Wiseau told us, everybody betray me, I fed up with this world, so she almost instantly calls Duke. Okay, did they buy a bunch of little smoke machines, or just move the same one from location to location? Anyway, before all the exciting escape action, we get a flashback to the sheriff confronting Duke before his death. It's kind of tragic, really. It looks like the guy playing Duke is acting his heart out, but they somehow mostly recorded his breathing, and then tried to disguise it with a piano.
They put a little piece of metal in me.
What the hell are you talking about?
They're trying to turn me into one of them or something.
Probably a boring conversation anyway. You know, in many ways, this film is just an odyssey of ass-hugging denim. Anyway, she's escaping, we get what passes for stunts in this part of the world. And remember earlier how I made a comment about Jimmy being alive, dead, or miscellaneous depending on the scene? Well, me miscellaneous. Oh, Claire, thank God I just... Fuck you through there!
Claire, I need your help. I need you to help me.
We've finally arrived. The ending that we could realistically have got to at any point.
Mom?
You have to come down to the basement, Claire.
No, please don't make me go down there, Mom, please. Claire, come down and help me, please! Claire, I'm in pain!
Well, that's just paying the hurt forward to the poor sound guy. They probably should have paid her to act less for once. Anyway, the ending. Are you sitting comfortably? Good. I'll begin.
You can't get out of here. Don't you get it? You've got to relive what you did.
This is hell. Claire is Duke Desmond, and his eternity is to live her last day over and over again.
You're not my daughter.
Yes, I am. I'm Claire.
Claire's dead. Because you killed her.
I kinda love that the souls of Jimmy and Claire are watching, and just to focus enough that you can pretend they're masturbating.
I'm not Duke! Please!
I didn't do anything!
Abandon all hope, ye who enter.
The only thing that's real is what you feel.
You've got to relive what you did.
I didn't do it! I didn't do anything!
I don't think I need to explain the ending, but I have some thoughts about what I think is going on beyond the obvious. So let me know if you'd like a companion video.
I didn't do anything! Please God, no! Ah! Ah! Ah!
It's like Face Off with just one guy. Also, symbolism!
Busy night?
Like I've been saying all review, this is a great film with a lot of obvious flaws. Most obviously the music, but the premise is strong and the ending is a fucking killer. Again, literally. Yeah, probably should have killed her a few more times to build up to the ending, but that leads into one of the film's main flaws. It's kind of vague, has weird shit going on for seemingly no reason, and it's much too long between kills to completely keep the audience's interest. But it's doing all that to torment and mock Duke. For instance, the face appearing out of nowhere or the weird open mouth. They appear to be pointless, low-rent horror tropes, but that's the demons, or whatever, mocking Duke, and if he turns around and sees them, then all the better. But at the same time, to the audience, they're indistinguishable from actual pointless horror tropes in the first viewing. The film is so invested in tormenting Duke that I forgot it can also torment the audience. I don't know if this is a defense or a criticism of the film, but it's definitely something. Like the film. I love how it subverted audience sympathy that we get in film. The young woman stalked and murdered by the big bad man, and then it does a 180-degree turn on us, putting the audience on the side of the killer. But at the same time, it is about how terrible it is that a young woman was stalked and murdered by the big bad man. It's its own subversion while still being the thing that it's subverting. It's stunning. And it was made 7 years before Black Mirror famously came up with his own twist on the same idea in White Bear. I love this film. Ugly musical warts and weird colour balancing and sometimes fucking awful acting and all. It's a crime that is not better known. Even if you can't get beyond its shortcomings, you have to respect the brilliance of the twist ending. It's an all-time classic.
I'm Diamanda Hagan and etc, etc, etc.